Valiant.
Hey,
So
okay, hope you had an awesome day at work. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, but we got a good bunch of lads that are about to run you down with Reinhardt. You can have all of these, accolades to your name. We got the power of friendship, and the boys are coming. So let's see what we're going to see. Looks like Australia potentially going to start on this Reinhardt. It does work very well against the Symmetra, but Canada potentially seeing this one coming. It looks like False is going to roll out on the Orisa as well,
this map.
For the most part,
Sig, Bastion, May.
going to run at each other. It'd be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Sig, almost everywhere.
Yeah, who's going to come out
and Bastion,
on top?
May.
The lads or the buds? False versus
Bop being played or Gilagi or Glucia.
If Kava has what it takes on this Reinhardt.
You say one.
False.
Okay, they're gonna fight inside, chat. Rein versus Orisa. Let's see. This is what I expected. The team that Australia is playing is the team that I expected from France. So aggressive. Ooh, gets Aki ugly. Oh my god, the quality is dipping though. Noxious finds two.
That's a quick double kill, Team Canada.
Oh, Noxious.
Canada is here to win, chat.
So passionate and vocal on Twitter about just how excited he is to be playing for his region. He's very well known in the collegiate scene, playing for top schools like Harrisburg and St. Clair. So you might think, look at this roster, like, oh, not a lot of Overwatch League players that have experience in the Overwatch League, but hey, we have good players. That's all that matters.
Perfect.
Yeah, Overwatch League is overrated. We have no Overwatch League players either, but we do have lots of contenders players. We're actually going to see Kuffer switch over to the Sigma. The Orisa versus Reinhardt match is very in favor of the Orisa, but the Sigma favors against the Orisa. So we'll hopefully get an advantage from
Kaffa goes sick.
But now they're going to
I just saw that.
Sort of stay in that
good
range
adaptation.
with the Bastion and the Sigma just poking out damage against Canada. The issue that they have though is that they don't have the points. So all this time they're losing percentage. But
good pick, Doug.
Yeah, the bigger issue is the Sam Matrix plus a Bastion, but
probably against Orisa. Yeah, you know, you just go sick. Just go sick.
Even know one ocean to look at anymore. That'll be Australia.
Good adaptation from Australia. They're not gonna give up, Chad. They're not gonna give up.
Just gets a little aggressive. Isn't able to be healed by Crimzo on that rush. We're actually going to see them sticking with this composition. So
still hugging the right side. Should we be playing left side? On point or on high ground?
Ultimates are starting to come up. Nanda has that photon barrack, gives a huge advantage, and Aki is coming up to that amplification matrix, and Crimzo doesn't have his because he used it in the lost fight.
Barrier.
Play the time. You have Sig Devil. Just play the time a little bit. Russian.
Different ways to play
this thing wall.
Australia trying to defend the point and
usually want to put it like the other way around, you know, just
precarious situation.
Turn it around, but
I don't think Canada can
help!
their buddy. So
help Sim! Help Sim! Okay, thank you.
Confirming these kills quite yet. Australia
Whitlock has ultimate before Magic 8 Ball. Huge beat.
By the Noxious Blizzard.
How did he get a point?
Moment flipping.
Okay, window from Crimzo.
Yeah, Australia used all of their ultimates to try and win that one.
Good kill there on Aki.
The re-aggression, sound barrier out from Magic Maple to counter the gravitic flux, and that will be Canada winning a pretty decisive fight. I like the idea from Australia to try and go proactive against the Canada squad, but
agreed, but they forgot about something.
Execute in the same way that they planned it out.
Yeah, it took a while to get this done for Canada, but the job is done. 70%.
Don't sound so smug. I don't want to hear that from 11. Don't sound so smug. 75% in counting. We can make it back. We have no ultimates, but
wait, Canada's pushing Bastions ulting them in spawn? I love
Australia.
that.
Good disengage.
They got a lamp out.
Artillery strike against the Bastion.
Ooh, they had one more charge.
You can see he's
and now they're just gonna rush in with Orisa. That was so good from Canada. So good guy in the corner. What is happening? Where are they going? They're going top.
Canada
Right
hoping
above
to meet them halfway there.
Yeah,
Where is Australia?
Danny? How did they get there? They just TP'd in.
Crimzo
gets picked? How?
99% for in overtime. Yeah, losing.
Australia can turn this around.
Not a lot of healing. Now none at all.
How did this happen, dude?
When they felt like they were going to be taking
the initiative
in this fight.
With the TP, they did not expect the TP.
Yeah, you know. Australia, we're known for our beaches. We apparently found a teleporter on the outside of this map and made it to behind Canada. False was just confused. You could see him setting up to go for the flank terror surge, but by the time they found Australia, they were already on the point and Crimzo had already fallen. So big plays from Team Australia, considering they had no ultimates to go with, and now they're starting to charge them up as well. So Australia potentially back in the driver's seat of this round.
Yeah, Matrix from Aki could be starts off the fight for Australia, and Canada choosing to go down this long lane could hurt them in the end, but the teleporter as Nanda tries to meet Australia halfway with Canada. Terror surge though, Australia just walk into pain. And Canada, though.
Kaffa has ultimate, though. He's gonna cast it.
One, though. Can they finish
Protect
off
Kaffa.
the remnants of Australia?
Dude, you use the ult after the spear.
Now Kaffa is a believer.
So much patience.
Oh,
Aki gets picked again, dude.
Will protect him well. Now the
good beat though. Simul coming back.
Try and lock down Burtlock, who just speeds around it. Thanks to the sound beer, Australia will sustain through it. It is just such a crazy last fight.
Yeah, it's just desperation mode for Australia. Everyone's switched over. We got a Moira, we got a Tracer, and they are managing to hold on for just long enough.
Secret, why are you doing this? Okay. Crimso's like to protect.
Nami falls. It's gonna be hard for
Crimson was like to protect when Bastion ulted.
Are only down by 2, but the lack of damage
very nice.
hurts a lot. Magic may fall 2 with the sound barrier. We're just gonna run down Australia once and for all.
Why isn't I securing the kills?
Although Australia have been
this is so stuff everywhere. I keep trying to keep him alive.
Burtlock
finds another one, but nah, dude, it's over. Nami has pulse bomb. 1% off on who though?
To be able to win this, gets the pulse bomb. He could turn this whole thing around with a big pulse bomb.
No, that's it. First round.
Speedy heroes of Australia.
This is just the map. I swear, it's just the map. Like you don't know if you should go left, if you should go right, if you should go high ground, where you should commit, what you should do. Just because the map is new. Yeah, Australia's making the fight for it.
Honestly,
they can win.
Teams doing a great job of entering back into these fights, finding avenues, and both of the Baptistes were struggling to stay alive. They were usually the first ones going down. So now we head over to B.
This is all the pressure gun, Bob.
Looks like start on the Sigma. I think if you know that the Canadian team is going to play the ORISA into you, if you try and play the Reinhardt, I think this is the right decision.
Moira just to come back from spawn faster.
He was doing work with the Sigma. They just weren't able to close out.
I can't believe that we're seeing Bastion in World Cup to think about that. Me too. Bastion has almost never been played seriously in pro play, other than in double shield for a little bit, or to cheese on 2CP with sim Bastion strategies on like kind of Moira. I don't remember a meta
honestly,
in these
this
years
is unfair because
see
Sika has advantage because he played Samoa earlier in a show match, so I feel like that's an unfair advantage that Team Canada has, but you know, I'll take it up with the rest.
Doomfist has been played a bit.
Okay, Crimso
down again. Wow.
That is the best Canadian talent we'll ever have. He better not leave. But he's dead, so he is left for now, but he'll be back. We'll be back.
And Australia utilizing the Symmetra very well. It feels like they that's how we keep finding picks on
this game feels pretty balanced.
They're teleporting into an off angle or behind into Crimson. And Crimson's just struggling to deal with it and stay alive. So first capture goes over to Australia. So we're already in a much better spot than they were last round.
Yeah, no one really taking a lot of damage because that fight was so quick. You don't have Amp Matrix as that ultimate that could usually start that second fight. Look at this teleporter that goes behind Canada. Now they just hope to chase them down. False. Frontlining quite well, but slowly.
Window available for Crimso.
Immortality has to be brought out by Crimso. Both teams trading blow for blow. Canada are up by 1, and Seeker has been let loose, and he's hunting down. This is what the Wolfpack does.
That's the window deck. The nade. Dude, I still don't know why Bastion has that nade. I'll be honest with you.
Great play by Canada.
I think
they
better
the amplification matrix. Seeker's in the wheels mode. Just does so much damage in a short amount of time.
How many weeks or months on average before a new map gets figured out by you guys' top 1%?
That is going to be a point flip coming back over to Canada, but now Australia,
if you scrim, probably 2 weeks. If you don't scrim, probably
channel your Wolfpack, Australia.
Depends on the meta is being played. Until there's a set meta, you can play in different ways. You know, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks. Depends on how many times you get it in a gang. But probably playing the map at least 10 times, you get a feeling for it. Where you should take the fights, what comp should work.
The Bastion grenades,
another nade kill, yeah.
Matrix do like something north of 200
Of course, like if you just look at it, you can tier guys where are the best points just by staring at it.
Such an important tool,
but in practice, it might be different.
So quickly, so great play by Australia. They have to use
like clearly this high ground, and then you kite back, and then you can off angle with somebody left side. Depends on the comp too.
Ultimate coming here for Australia. It's such a good combo because people cannot avoid it if they get picked up in the flux.
Good thing Australia didn't take that teleport.
Aki gets picked, dude.
How does Aki die to that? Even with the immortality and everything.
Speed boost. That is speed boost. I don't know. That is speed boost. Lucy has to help him. He got split. Aki got split, Doug.
Escape. At least keep shelter inside of this building.
Yeah, exactly.
From Burtlock trying to keep them in that fight, but as soon as Magic Bait Ball responds with his own, there's nothing you can do. So now tank ults. Blizzard here for Noxious. It's going to be hard for Australia to deal with. They do have the teleporter to sort of manipulate their movement around it, but you can see them struggling.
Can hold this. They spear. 3 seconds.
Teleporting behind Canada once again. Kuffa's on the backline, just floating into space.
Kuffa looking for Seeker, isolates him with the grab.
Oh, False gets 3 though! Oh my god, he gets a 4K. That's a clip. That's a clip.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Great play by False. Just, you could see Kuffa just got caught, wasn't able to get through the teleporter from there. False had a free run into the backline of Australia, and now 80% final fight territory here for Canada. Australia
they're
needs
waiting,
to find something
they're hiding
to get
with
into
Mace
this
so that
fight.
they can TP in them and then just wall and freeze them.
Hoping that Canada
That
gives
was a window.
a bit of space, maybe baits Australia.
Bit of miscommunication there from Canada. Crimzo just doesn't kick. You know what? You hide where you do whatever. I have a good window angle. They buy time. Now they group up together. I'll lose this. I can turn this around. Yeah, like they had a plan. They had that. They didn't get along with the calls. Crimzo was like, dude, don't kick, don't hide. Just stay here and poke. Stay here and poke. And then we wall when they window and stuff. And then Noxious was like, bro, I'm gonna wait for the TP to go in and then I'm gonna ult. Then I'm gonna wall, I'm gonna ult. This is close again, this is miscommunication.
They have control. They have the photon.
And then Noxious wasn't ready to wall the window for Mackie.
Anticipating a teleport play
They competed for play of the game.
Just never came, so didn't get the opportunity to drop it. So
one last fight, Australia wins this. We can win this, I mean, they have sim wall.
Australia needs to win this one to keep the map going.
Seeker's already so
Lamp ugly! But Crimzo got forced.
And just to heal back up,
Bastion will be available soon, both lanes being thrown in. Noxious has Mail, just gonna mail the point when he gets like at this thing. Magic Maple gets picked, the Bastion nade again, dude.
Still hoping to flip, but without Magic Maple, they won't have the speed able to have an Ant Matrix. Noxious holding on to the Blizzard,
they
hoping
can turn this
Australia
thing
get a
on,
bit
bro.
closer, hiding
They're gonna have
from
Lamp
the
like
rain
3
of
seconds.
damage. Here comes more, it's Nami with the artillery strike, hoping
this is so close. False is trying so hard there. Magic! Bird like, why did you go in there?
The flex from Kuffa kind of zones him.
Okay. Aki almost has window. Aki almost has window. They win this. Australia wins this round.
Keep protecting it. It's just Seeker, and Australia will be forcing round 3.
I have to remind you, which team wins this will probably get the second seed in the group.
Damage in pair with the amplification matrix, just finding kill after kill, and right now, we talked about how strong Seeker has been as a player in the Overwatch League. Right now, Nami's taking it to him.
Also for the tier 1 for the best advanced bank.
Everyone's been saying this was, you know, our bias said that this was going to be the match of the day, but really this was going to be the closest in terms of skill. This is the Terror Surge we saw off screen. Wait, Nami's just... He's just
waited so long.
It's just like, well, I'm going down. May as well shoot some bullets on the way out. Doesn't find anything, and wow, that was a great play by False. But now we're tied up. We head over to Volcano as both teams stick with the same compositions.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying in a gang too.
Pretty close-knit point too. Now it's ORISA versus Sigma. False has been good at just running them down. That's exactly what ORISA needs to do. As long as you protect Seeker.
Surrounding them from everywhere.
Biggest source of damage, but Australia just trying to counter-rotate away.
Cover gets knocked into the pit, bounces back up. Nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Australia does have first point control, so it's going to be Canada who are going to have to run into Australia. Seeker and Willsmore, Nami cannot get caught. Great teleport out by the team.
I love the creativity out of Australia and how
this
they
gameplay is really fast.
Canada.
This feels like two contenders teams playing against each other.
They become to finish off these targets. They get them so low.
Canada should look a little bit better though.
Kind of cheeky positioning from Canada to go around these corners.
Maybe it's because of the ORISA instead of the SIG.
Canada's going for the flip. Ant Matrix.
How does Crimzo have window already? Excuse you?
Somehow only just now has there been a death.
What? I wasn't even paying. I was like,
and
what?
Canada in that 5v4. What a Maywa.
He's getting his ultimate so fast.
Just gonna reset with the team.
And that's the issue you run into when you're playing the Sigma versus the ORISA. The ORISA can walk forward with no fear because she has so many defensive tools, while the Sigma, you're trying to poke from mid-range.
How does he do it?
Even though Australia got
lands more headshots.
Capture point first, they
lands
eventually got pushed
hits.
up by Canada, and then all of a sudden Australia gets a
It might just be a strategy too.
And they're the ones who get picked first.
It's one of those incredibly underrated strategies when Lucio just stays on speed and you just let your Baptiste heal up. Kind of like how Dallas was doing with Kiriko. You know, just let Kiri heal up everything until you have ult. This also might just be a strategy from them. We don't know exactly, we don't see the points of view. We don't see like the amount of damage and the amount of healing done.
This tight area, Canada just blew them up. Canada will hold on to this lead, but it feels like Australia are fighting back.
Huge, dude.
But False will end that. Wait, one-man sound barrier?
Might take more damage. Oh, true. That as well. That's a smart observation. Yeah, Canada will take more damage because they have ORISA. They don't have a shield from Sig.
Canada still holding on to so many of their ultimates.
Beat question mark. A bit of panic from Australia. A bit of panic.
This is going to be very difficult for Australia to come in. They need some magic.
Photon Bear is going to be big for Nanda.
Just goes in, they know they don't have beat.
Fight, but Canada have already arrived.
He's trying to eat that, Kaffa trying to eat that.
From Seeker was just to get Australia low. Canada were looming to see
huge ult. Magic Mate Ball ult's a little bit too fast, I think. False with another huge ultimate, dude.
Is more than enough for False and friends, the wolf pack of Canada, to take down Australia again.
Just rushing some of their
got first map from Australia. They don't have time. We got first map from Australia, dude. These are just, they're just a little bit nervous.
Team Canada going to potentially
some mistakes here and there.
Gets pinned against the wall by the javelin from False.
Unlucky.
Damn. Hey, play the Reinhardt to
Wait, they're gonna play with Anna Bob chat? There's no way they're playing Anna Bob. No way they're playing Anna Bob chat.
To be able to come in to play the Sigma.
Ain't no way.
Obviously the Australian Overwatch League player, probably the best Overwatch League player that we've ever had come out of the region, and he's given the opportunity to Kaffa to be able to play on this international stage, to be able to play against some of these world-class players.
I'm seeing a lot of sim on defense. Oh my god, Magic Mate Ball almost got zapped by the Thuggers Dark chat.
Yeah, low-key only think it's close because Punk isn't here. Thanks for giving us a chance. So charitable. But Canada are just speeding
interesting
right
Maywall deck. Not inside the room so I can break it. I think he wanted to aim it like all the way inside the room so they have to break all of the pillars to go there.
In the process, but they use the teleporter of Nanda to get to the high ground to try and put damage above False's shield. And they
they're gonna play on a Bob. Australia wins the first defense
honestly,
here.
You gotta attack the carry. Crimzo has been
Jelly Ace, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Might be the final game that they're gonna be watching though right now.
Strategy and then teleporting in a way that is catching Crimzo off guard, and honestly, the entirety of Team Canada.
It looked
like a bad strategy of all of Australia backing into that room, but you can see the communication and the coordination really coming out in spades for Team Australia. That's a great first point hold.
Canada going to the top left now and trying to get a better angle above this shield.
Okay.
Kaffa adjusts. Nami's trying to go maybe behind that, but maybe just shielding himself from the damage and doesn't probably know where he is. Might have missed the
think that's
he's by himself. Aki trying to support.
I think that was
Australia got kind of mixed
that was
up
a question mark
play there, and Canada took advantage.
They're trying something.
Yeah, I just
They're trying something. They wanted to go behind them with the TP on top. They take the TP, but wait, Kaffa finds two.
And now Kaffa is actually getting staggered, even though he gets both of the backliners. Oh, he is going to die later as well.
That was so interesting.
That should give Canada an opportunity to step up and take position before Kaffa can get back to this point. But honestly, that's 2 minute and 40 seconds off of the clock for Team Australia, holding close spawn. If they get an effective
again, Crimzo had ultimate before
into this fight, that was a perfect play.
Aki has to open it with the window.
Australia have a chance to recontest off the Amp Matrix from Aki, but has to get the right angle on it.
Yeah, Sim opens up for such creative plays.
Symmetra right click can be pretty deadly at range. Canada have the sound barrier too. Who's gonna pull the trigger? It's Australia with the Amp Matrix. Walled off from Noxious, but it buys Canada enough time to round this corner and not face the damage head on. False is getting bullied. Noxious has his back. And Australia will have to rely on plan B.
Yeah, even though Magic Mate Ball is down, if you try and push into that small room, there's so many things that could go wrong. Just take that time advantage that you got from a great amplification matrix.
Is that gonna be a big ult?
Followed up by the Blizzard.
Ooh, Kaffa's very low.
Birdlock gets frozen, dude. Had beat available. Oh no.
Could have maybe salvaged that fight for Australia. The photon barrier is a good defense, but I think Australia wants to get this over with.
Bastionade kill counter. I think it's so much. It's so high right now.
Just not able to get the sound barrier off to deal with the Flux Blizzard combo. So not a bad hold. Definitely took a lot of time off the clock, but Canada has managed to roll through, and that only cost them the Flux and the Blizzard.
This replay is bugged. Like the frames on this replay is bugged.
So now they're able to snowball. Are they going to be able to hold aggressively? Like you've already seen them False stepping up. Doesn't want to give Australia the positioning.
The Bastionade should be worked. I agree.
Force out the immortality, which is still very valuable.
Okay, not a Bastionade.
Australia are quite low, and Bertlog is late with the sound barrier to save Nanda, and Kaffa just falls over.
Did Canada lose to Great Britain? This battle, I would say, for seed number 2 in the group. So Canada just wants to keep their hopes alive. I mean, Australia can still qualify. They can win against Great Britain. I don't think so.
It did cost them everything they have in Australia. Will get
another fight. Buffed it too much.
And they do have the big combo once again.
Bastion being played. I don't know why. Maybe Maybe Bash is like one of those heroes that he can play if you just start playing the game, you know?
Noxious just getting away with putting
To encourage people to like play more Bastion. Why? He's just flanking. Like, look at this. Just doesn't care, but that was good.
The artillery strike was a nice attempt at the combo there from Australia, and Noxious
Canada
feels
just
like he has
wants.
to commit the blizzard just to end
I like how this
quickly.
starts.
And
So
Canada
literally,
have
we've seen this with USA. We've seen this with China too. They just start playing, you know, like equal, like 5 versus 5, and then they just start going full in. They just start going full, and they don't care. Doesn't matter. Kind of trolling. Exactly. I think it's kind of trolling, but they're just gonna win mechanically. They're just gonna win mechanically. It's too much confidence, you know, in them.
The issue with Reinhardt, which I know like Hadi and others have proven on the contrary, is that the Reinhardt shield can get busted up quite quickly, and then you're a sitting duck. Not the best tank to play at
Reinhardt
range,
here.
but Australia.
Australia won with Reinhardt on this map when they played.
Can't seem to get to that high ground.
I can't remember against who exactly.
There's the May wall from Noxious. It's great to invest these walls to allow Canada
against Brazil, yeah, against
to a safer
Brazil.
position. Australia haven't been able to punish that until this moment. Magic Maypole is now the target of that focus. Australia also stable on the cart. They got Noxious right where they want him. Somehow
it's a huge flux from False. Huge flux. Okay, Canada was just warming up.
They scattered the Canadian squad, but they just weren't able to find any other picks. They just struggled to take down Noxious.
They have the momentum there. They have beat available though. Australia has beat.
Desperation mode. Bertlog with the sound bear has had a couple of them go by the wayside. Needs it to be perfectly timed to help his team.
Noxious does not care. He wants this blizzard as soon as possible.
C-card, especially too strong.
Just a lot
takes himself out.
A lot of defense from Australia. And Australia, I've removed that backline, that flanker of Noxious, and hope to bulldoze the rest of the Canadians.
It's an important time to hold it because of how
I guarantee you that
it's a difficult point
bounced
to assail.
back to him.
Canada has to get positioning, they have to move through, and you're going to see False actually recognize this as well. Switches over to the ORISA. I talked about it earlier in the series.
In
general, when they play Reinhardt, if you switch to ORISA, that's a counter. But then Cuffer instantly makes the swap over to the
Again, this choke is super hard to cap,
dude. So you can see the
Overwatch
tank mind games and swaps happening in real time.
Oh my god, I thought he fell off the map.
Okay.
Are really hard to cap all the way. Like, yeah, Shambali is hard to cap. Circuit Royale is hard to cap. Magic Maypole, don't put them away. Boop them in. Perfect Magic Maypole.
Pushing people into the blizzard.
Good.
No one is frozen though, but here's the sound of Magic Maypole to give them a bit more time to really solidify Canada in this fight.
This is how Payload should feel, you know, like Payload.
So all damage
Barely
from
be able to
Canada
cap
will be permanent. Cuff has to hope that he can contest.
Nami's getting so many kills though.
Almost
spin them away. What's happening? Hello, what is happening to the camera? Oh my god. Everybody just chatting. Look like they were chatting in the back.
What they can do in the next fight.
Oh, did you all see the APM there?
Did
you see the APM?
No, Canada won. You know, they're trying to wrap this up early, but no, Australia with an exceptional hold with Nami on the Bastion. I don't know how he comes up with a
chatting
the artillery strike.
Exactly, that was them.
Right at the nick of time, so Australia are able to hold a minute.
They thought it was
over
over.
For Canada.
Yeah,
Australia once again, not many ultimates to answer back with. So how is Canada
going to just utilize first point for
the amplification matrix? So far, it feels like Australia's been trying to disengage from every
Nami's playing really well with Bastion though.
Are Canada going to recognize that and throw it out a little bit later than they usually do?
Crimso's smart. He won't use it here. Australia have a great moment to round this corner and avoid it. The Maywall's trying to isolate someone from Australia with the speed of Bertlog. They managed to get out, but that cost Bertlog's life. 5v4-2 with the Crimso. Matrix up top. Now they're down low, but the Photon Bear of Australia is a good point to defend on.
What is happening? Why is this?
Chad,
why is this point so hard to cap, dude?
And that's once again Nami.
How many times we're gonna see this happening? Like they get 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes out of like a bunch of minutes, and then they just can't finish. Or if they finish in overtime.
The Terror Surge is a scary prospect. If you watch map 1, but Cuffer can
respond map
with
design.
the gravitic flux of his own.
Defense has a lot of advantages.
ORISA can take pressure really well. Just the tankiest of tanks. Also, anyone who gets close, the Terror Surge will end them. Crimso being down, a lot of healing is gone.
Australia's holding them.
Hope for Canada to complete circle.
Australia's holding them.
What a defense out of Australia.
Yes, great play from Australia, able to just hold on by the skin of their teeth.
Oof.
So because they're able to hold there, they don't have to worry about getting to overtime. It's a simple strategy. All you got to do is get it to the end of the third point. The question that I have for Australia now is, because False can't make those retroactive swaps over to the ORISA, Do they decide to come out on the Reinhardt and try and run down the Sigma of False, or are they just going to try and take that Sigma mirror? Because when they were in the Sigma mirror, it felt like Canada had the edge.
I think there's a bug camera got dug.
It's also been a... You're looking at the tanks.
It's one advantage. I think that the goods are too long to take, you know?
kind of saved that fight for Australia with that 2K. Still don't know how that artillery strike got the 2K like that. And even Seeker has caught Australia off guard, just catching them in the open with the Ant Matrix. That's really well timed with Crimzo. And with Magic Mateball in the lineup, Canada just look a lot more decisive on these Lucio pushes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Canada is doing a better job of adapting on the fly in the middle of these fights, while Australia is getting scattered a little bit too much. If they can start tighten that up a little bit, there's potential that they will, be able to start turning some of these fights. Because right now it feels like Canada, they're really determining the flow of the game. But if Kuffa does come out on this Reinhardt, like I was saying, that might put the ball back in their court.
Yeah, the Reinhardt would be great at dueling close range, but now seeing maybe the Sigma come out again. Does he want to mirror it or not? And with the teleporter, that's going to be a great gap closer option. Along with the Lucio, Australia are out the gates in a quick teleport. Canada already speeding away. Nami's in tank form. And
kind of wall misses the wall.
From False to eat up a lot of that pressure. As Australia kind of have already used their cooldown.
This Canada can hold him here for his point.
And obviously the big advantage of Sigma is that you can shoot from mid-range and you have bullets, while Reinhardt, you have to be in their face if you're going to offer absolutely anything. So they need to keep going in with these teleporters if they're going to play this Reinhardt composition. The Kuffa's just so
question mark?
Whoa! Getting very
low. Whoa, forces the lamp.
Yeah,
Aki has window though. But Canada wins this.
He was charging it to his own death there, and who is teleporting behind there? I don't know, but Australia.
Okay, Aki with a flank.
Bastion, but Canada got so desperate to
gets two.
Kills. They found themselves in a
Let's go. That was a good flank from Aki. He got caught out a couple of times in the series, but this window made up for it.
We were trying to work out where they were going because they were so split from the rest of the team, but it was just Aki who was just.
You can't speak your language. If I start speaking Romanian, you won't understand anything that I'm saying either. Good. Keep chatting English, you speak the goals, or else I'm gonna move it to sub only, and I'm gonna start banning with no appeal. My mods will not unban you. I will ban, and it's gonna be permanent.
So far in this matchup.
Dude, kill from matches.
Yeah, just a random icicles at range. A lot of the supports are kind of getting first blooded, and I'm not even just targeting Bertlaw. Crimzone, Magic Mateball too, and that's made a huge difference in these fights.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it gets more difficult for the clumped up composition of Australia. They're going to be running into a Gravitic Flux from False. Noxious is going to have the Blizzard as well. So there's going to be so many threats that they're just going to have to avoid.
Aki gets picked by Seeker, dude.
Now as well. You spoke to it, Lemon. Just support the pin left and right. Oh, later.
Whoa, I don't even know how that happened.
Good pin though.
Teleport behind somebody.
2 minutes remaining.
Fun little Rhine strats. Sound barrier from Canada. They think this is winnable, especially with Kuffa low.
Okay. Oh, I saw that beat being used there.
Australia have half their time bank on.
This is getting very
Wait, they're winning this? Huge beat for Bertlaw. Huge beat.
Left and right to stay in this fight. Finally, Canada is going to disengage, but Australia's got to be careful. They can't get a head full of steam. You can see Noxious waiting there.
Noxious gonna land a huge mail. Oh!
He managed to get it off.
Professional 2 Seeker finds 2.
The artillery strike from Seeker.
That was a massive mail.
Are just sitting ducks, sitting kangaroos. I don't know, but man, Australia. They can pull through sometimes in these chaotic moments.
Might be a full whole chat.
It feels like Australia wants to keep it a little messy. It feels like where they're right at home, but they kind of got baited into that Noxious Blizzard. He was stuck in the ice blocks. You saw Kuffa just waiting for him to come out, maybe hoping with the Earth Shatter that he'd be able to cancel the Blizzard before it came out, but it just wasn't enough. And as soon as that Blizzard comes down, comboed with the artillery strike, there's just nothing Australia can do. And now, minute remaining for Australia.
Love the window from Crimzo. Crimzo's doing every single window like so good, so well.
And they're kind of split from each other, using the barriers as cover. He placed his own Amp Matrix, which kind of scared Canada back to this corner. Artillery strike now from Nami. He got some pretty close
Australia, this is the best chance. This is the best chance. This is the fight. Canada otherwise going to have ultimates for the last fight.
Seconds in Australia.
Kuffa?
Can see the end of point A, and Kuffa almost saw light flash before his eyes. Finally, he's finished off. He can't keep getting away with that. Canada, no.
Nah, this was the last fight. I don't think they can touch this. That was good.
You can do without it.
Canada looking
Australia
way
just aren't
better.
able to find the picks right now. It feels like they're just constantly running into the
like with Reinhardt against that comp, you gotta look for a pen somehow, but otherwise it's just gonna get melted.
Fight no ultimates to speak to, and False has a gravitic flux. This is going to be difficult. You're going to need something special from somebody.
All right, last fight for Australia, or will it be Canada taking the series? Australia.
Is he just 360?
Now hoping to run away from this ground flush. You know, Kuffa's gonna get killed by the rest of the team. Let's go for the most important ones, the supports. Aki is just getting backhanded.
Wait, he's missing.
False,
doesn't matter though, it's over.
Just scuffling through the car, not able to contest it for much longer. And Canada
GG.
take the series too. Oh, I had something meaner to say,
chat.
You know, GG.
Good game. Canada looked way better today than against Great Britain. I think if they win against Brazil, they're in chat.
Hey, I'm Olaf. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. Meow.